So this video is actually going to be about sustainability and the relationship with private sectors, meaning businesses owned by you and me or corporations. So private sectors and public sectors are governments. What has been the progress of sustainability and the relationship with private sectors so far and over the years? Since 1995, businesses that were operating in the brown economy type manner started adopting sustainable practices. However, the problem with this is that a lot of companies, corporations out there are greenwashing, meaning they are actually marketing that they are economically, ecology, or environmentally friendly, but they are not, right? So they can put anything on their label. A lot of companies, one that I really like, but is also greenwashing, is Aveeno. So these companies, there's a long list of companies, and I'll put that in the link below for you to see. But there are a lot of companies that greenwash, meaning for PR purposes, they are advertising how eco-friendly they are, but in reality they do have, old school chemicals in their products that are not eco-friendly. And so you have to really need to keep an eye out on companies that aren't actually practicing sustainable practices. But since the 1985, there are people out there who are naturally passionate about sustainability, and there's a number of businesses that began their operating by supporting, promoting, and practicing sustainable practices. They contribute to the green economy, which is an economy that factors in environmental concerns into their bottom line, such as environmental degradation and social responsibility. Thanks to international pressure, there are more companies starting to adopt sustainable practice as well due to regulations. Some argue that some business will try to relocate to a country that doesn't have as much regulation, but thankfully the cost of relocating to those countries surpass the cost that they have to eat when they practice some sustainable practices. By 2014, the Business Roundtable was providing a forum for more than 100 companies to proclaim their achievements and efforts in sustainability causes. This is effective because it creates a sense of accountability with the companies that are practicing sustainable practices, and they're able to showcase their achievements and their efforts to others as well. Additionally, many businesses adopted the triple bottom line method in their annual reports, originated by John Elkington in his book in 1999, Cannibals with Forks, the Triple Bottom Line of the 21st Century Business. This actually influenced a lot of businesses to incorporate sustainable practices into their bottom line. So what it is it is considered 3 equal factors when calculating their profits. They include their financials, their environmental concerns, and social concerns. It is basically the triple bottom line for their annual reports. One thing I understood from this chapter by Courtney on sustainability is that the public and private sectors need to work together. As the green economy continues to grow, so has the trade and nonprofit organizations that support sustainability. There are many global organizations as well as local organizations that supports building a more sustainable business practice. The one I will dive deeper into is the Small Business Administration in the USA and in Australia. If you dive and do research on Australia, there's an article that talks about how all businesses leave ecological footprints. And it's very common for corporations to be targeted to make their practices more sustainable. However, there is also small businesses and small businesses make up a lot of businesses in Australia, and I'm sure in the United States as well. And so the problem, the issue was, how do you get small businesses to also practice sustainable practices? Because there are three key problems to get small business to engage in environmental management practices. They are usually, small business have the inability to relate to these issues as a whole. They often don't think that they are big enough to make an impact in the ecological footprint. Secondly, there is a lack of business case, meaning there are no incentive for them to adopt sustainable practices. For one, small businesses are typically always trying to survive. They have competition and their profit margins are usually not huge. So for them to take on sustainable practices that may hurt their bottom line, they are usually not for it. So they want a business case that proves that it can improve their business long term as well. And finally, the fact that not all small businesses are the same. So in Australia, the owners of businesses are so diverse, from men to women to nationality to education level. All sorts of people open businesses over there. So there isn't a specific resource that is going to help everyone. You know, everyone is at different phases in businesses and value different things and operate differently. That is another problem when it comes to educating people on how to get their business to be sustainable. What Australia did was they conducted a research on how to get people to move towards sustainability, people as in small businesses. And they did a survey before and after, and they asked a lot of questions on, you know, what would cause them to take action. Do you need educational resources from the government? Do you need legislation changes? Do you need education from an environmental specialist? And the number one thing is, people normally say they would rather listen to a specialist than the government, but at the same time, they also would rather listen to the government, because if the government is responsible, they are more likely to give resources at a discount or at no cost to the small business. Whereas if you get help from a specialist, they are going to probably charge more for that help. But of course, they move forward with assistance from the government. And the number one tool that they found helpful in transitioning to more sustainable practice is the ecological audit tool that the government provided for the small businesses. They were able to audit their own business to understand where they stand and take action from there. And there's one thing that I forgot, was they did a survey asking small business how aware are they of the environmental impact they have on society and how important it is to be operating more sustainably. Apparently, more people are more aware than they thought, but that doesn't equate to action taken. So the solution is that there has to be intervention in order for these people to actually take action on sustainable practices. Their conceptual model that they built was intervention on energy efficiency, engage them, inform them, support them, and finally reward them. And so for energy efficiency upgrades, the reward is the cost-effective savings in money that they eventually have when they do save money in the long run. Now you head over to the USA, and I looked up Small Business Administration website, and their green initiatives is basically, and it's very apparent depending on where you live in the USA, but here in Washington, there are advertisement everywhere about rebates given from the government for you to upgrade your house to be more energy efficient. So that's for the personal residence area, but even for small businesses, they do encourage everyone to upgrade their businesses to be energy efficient, and they provide grants and loans for you to do it. If you go to their website, they promote construction of commercial buildings that are green efficient from the beginning. So overall, I think a small step, which is very impactful, that is being taken in, I'm sure, everywhere else as well to some degree, is to make every businesses, small, residential, corporation, to be more energy efficient. And that is what's happening around the world right now on the progress of sustainability with private sectors.